You're gonna be known forever. If you're part of that administration now, or you're on the board, you're gonna be known forever as genocide supporters. You're gonna go in a museum, they're gonna have your name. These were the people who paid money to folks who were in favor of genocide because they felt offended by the people who said that Israel was doing a genocide.
Worried with this, of a precedent that this sets, that this proves that the Trump administration's strategy of weaponizing research funding works, and that this will lead them to do this more often, not less?
I can tell you, first of all, I am confident in the agreement we struck. We worked, again, on every word. So I am confident it does not cross our lines that were essential to us. Of course, I'm aware of the atmosphere in which we, are and were talking to the federal government and what other institutions are facing.
Another shakedown in the books, this time with Columbia University, and we've got the details. Columbia University has agreed to pay $200 million over the next 3 years to resolve claims it discriminated against Jewish students. An agreement the university said will restore hundreds of millions of dollars in federal grants the Trump administration had terminated or paused earlier this year. As part of the agreement, the university won't be required to admit any wrongdoing, but in a statement, it did add, the institution's leaders have recognized repeatedly that Jewish students and faculty have experienced painful, unacceptable incidents, and that reform was and is needed. Now, Cenk, there is a lot more to this, but what are your initial thoughts here?
Yeah, so in a minute, I'm gonna break down all the money that was paid, and apparently I'm owed money. So if you were discriminated at Columbia, apparently you gotta get paid. Where's my goddamn money? As a Muslim, I was insulted 2,000 times there. Oh, sorry, I thought I was human. No, I realize that's only for one group of people now. The rest of us are dirt, and we could be insulted all day long, and nobody's gonna get any money for it. But I want people to understand something that's important to this story before we give you all the details. Columbia is not being made to do this. The people on Columbia's board, a lot of the important wealthy donors to Columbia and the Columbia administration are all racist against Palestinians, and they're bigots against Muslims, and they're very happy to do this. They're not like, oh, Donald Trump twisted my arm. No, he didn't. No, they love that they have an excuse to be bigots against Muslims. That's what Columbia has been trying to do the whole time. Yeah, there is a giant racial and bigotry problem in Columbia. It's against Muslims by the deeply racist Columbia administration, and every member of the Columbia board that didn't resign over this should hang their head in shame for their deep racism and bigotry. So I'll explain why in a minute.
Well, on top of the $200 million in grant repayment, the school will also pay a $21 million settlement as part of a US Equal Employment Opportunity Commission investigation. Columbia has agreed to submit to a federal monitor that will assure compliance with admissions and hiring practices and provide certain information about students to immigration authorities. So what will that look like in practice? Columbia must also review its admissions policy for international students and ensure those applicants are asked why they want to study in the United States. Earlier this year, US Immigrations and Customs Enforcement agents detained some international students who had been outspoken pro-Palestinian advocates at Columbia, and administration officials have said that, quote, pro-Hamas, quote, radical students should be deported. On Fox Business, Secretary of Education Lindy McMahon took a victory lap.
I think that this is a monumental victory for conservatives who've wanted to do things on these elite campuses for a long time, because we had such far left-leaning, professors, and we had 27% of the students that are coming in, are from outside of the United States. I think that's one of Harvard's stats, and so Columbia is clearly on board. I'm really pleased with this victory. It wouldn't have happened if Donald Trump were not president, and I'm really pleased pleased to execute his vision for this, that our campuses are now, they're what they should be. They're places for debate. They're places for education. They're not places for left-leaning riots and anti-Semitism. And I'm really pleased with this result.
Now, under this agreement, the Trump administration was, until this agreement, the Trump administration was dangling $400 million in federal funds for research over Columbia's head. That funding will now be reinstated. One of the faculty union leaders on campus expressed his frustration over the agreement in a statement to the Washington Post. Michael Thaddeus, a professor of mathematics and acting president of the Columbia chapter of the American Association of University Professors, said in an email Wednesday that students and scholars at American universities must be free to think and speak their minds, and that the settlement risks imperiling that freedom. Columbia's insistence that it will not allow the government to interfere in appointments, admissions, or curriculum is welcome. Yet the creation of a monitor charged with scrutinizing our admissions data and our Middle Eastern Studies Department opens the door to just such interference. Cenk.
Yeah, so I went to Columbia Law, and when I went there were people from across the world there, and I guess now they're not going to take people from the Middle East as much, and so, but they're battling bigotry. But wait, you just said you're going to discriminate against foreign students, period. Do you think they're going to discriminate against Israeli students? Laugh along with me, okay? So of course they're not going to do that. They're going to target Muslim students and Arab students. So while fighting bigotry and racism, right? Liars, giant liars. You know that Columbia alumni were the ones that were first like, how dare they protest Israel? Kick them off campus, don't let them graduate. Okay, they're disgusting because it's all about protecting Israel. So what happened? What happened to free speech? No, not on a college campus. How dare you do free speech on a college campus? Bow your head to Israel, okay? Well, you guys just canceled $400 million. That looks like cancel culture. You canceled the money. Bow to Israel, okay? So what is these dumbasses? It's again, not dumb, sorry, take it back. Perfectly smart. They're like, we have to give $200 million to the Trump administration. Golly gee, oh no. And we have to ban anyone from criticizing Israel. And we have to redo our Middle Eastern department so that it doesn't teach history, it teaches Israeli propaganda. Oh shucks. Don't make us do it, said the bigots on Columbia's board, Columbia administration, who deeply hate Muslims and have nothing but disdain for us, okay? So part of this settlement is randomly Jewish students are gonna get $20 million. What, $20 million? So what, because somebody said something anti-Semitic. First of all, I don't even believe it, but okay, if you have instances where you can show it on tape or whatever, are people gonna come and go, yeah, I was kind of offended, dude. Yeah, like I love Israel, man. So what, we're starving the kids to death. Give me money. And Columbia's like, here you go, sir. Oh, you're pro-genocide, check. Pro-genocide, check. Ethnic cleansing, oh, you like starving babies, check, okay. Well, where's my check? I went to Columbia. I was against the occupation from day one. I said, why should the Palestinians be the only people considered so violent and outrageously terrorist that they can't ever be a sovereign nation? They can't be, everyone else can have an independent nation, but the Palestinians can't. And they say, shut up, you're not allowed to have that opinion. You're a Muslim, terrorist, savage, etc. Where's my goddamn money? Where's all the kids, Muslim, Christian, and Jewish, who fought for peace, who fought against genocide? Where's their money? You don't get any money. But if you love genocide, Columbia's gonna go write you a check. They're gonna write you a check for that. I'm so disgusted, I wish I never went to that place. I should have picked some other law school, but I didn't know. I didn't know that the school was secretly, the entire agenda was to help the Israeli government. What a sick, disgusting place. So in Columbia's official position now is pro-genocide. Disgusting. Okay, if you say, no, Cenk, I saw them take over a building, ooh, like in the Vietnam War protests, they never did that, right? But that was just about complaining about America. You can complain about America all day long in Colombia, anywhere else. You're not going to get a paid check for that. You complain about Israel. Oh, you're going to get fired, deported, And the guy who said that you said something bad about Israel is going to get a big fat check. They're incentivizing people to be bigots against Muslims. Oh, go find a dirty Muslim who said something that you don't like, and we'll give you money for it. Disgusting. Disgusting. That will be a stain on everyone on Colombia's board for the rest of their lives. If you have on your resume that you were a member of the Colombia board of trustees now, that's a scarlet letter. Oh, those are the people who hated Muslims and loved the genocide. And they bowed to Trump and said, yes, Donald Trump, here's $200 million, okay? To change our Middle Eastern department. Only Israeli propaganda. Only Israeli propaganda. No truth allowed at Colombia. What a waste. Can I just get my money back for the tuition? I didn't know I was going to an Israeli propaganda school. I thought I was going to a college in America, an esteemed college in America. No, so guys, think about how stupid this is. So they're gonna pay we gotta get the $400 million back in medical research. So we're gonna give the Trump administration $200 million. Guys, after Trump is gone, they're gonna get the money anyway. And Harvard's probably gonna win the lawsuit. Columbia knows Harvard's gonna win the lawsuit. My dad was right. He's like, you work a little harder, you go to Harvard. I should have gone to Harvard. I shouldn't have settled for Columbia, but I didn't know they were bigots. So yeah, they've shamed us all. And so this is not an American university. This is not a place where you go for higher education and you get unbiased history, foreign policy, politics, philosophy. You learn about things. This is just a protection racket for a foreign government, and I'm beyond disgusted by it.
Cenk, I want to point out how while they wrap this in equal opportunity language and fighting discrimination, as you rightfully point out, this only goes one way. These protections and this government intervention would never be afforded to Muslim students, and we have proof. Chris Hedges has a new book out, and he details some of the treatment that Muslim students at Columbia have, some of the treatment and discrimination they have encountered and lived with at Columbia over the past couple of years. For instance, on April 25th of this year, during Columbia's senior boat cruise, Muslim students who were identified as participating or participants in the campus encampment were harassed, yelled at, and had drinks poured on them. No intervention by the Trump administration or Columbia University.
Where's their $20 million? Where's their $20 million? Yeah. They were literally assaulted.
More,
but they're Muslims, so it doesn't matter. You could assault them. Just go ahead and assault them. As long as they're criticizing Israel, beat the living crap out of them like they did at UCLA. I know you have more, I have one too. I wanna see if you have the one I have, go ahead.
January 2024, former Israeli soldiers studying at Columbia used skunk spray to assault students on the steps of Low Library. The university initially said that they banned those students who used the skunk spray, and they were later allowed back onto campus. Students who were participating in the encampments who were Jewish, not even Muslim this time, they were Jewish, and they wanted to use the kosher kitchens, were harassed by other students in there. Just so we're simply participating in these protests. So yes, of course, you can treat Muslim students however you want if you're on Columbia's campus. Also, if you don't align with Columbia's apparent pro-genocide stance, you also can be harassed and discriminated against. It's absolutely disgusting. I'm sure there are many more. Maybe you have some.
Yeah, there was a guy that ran over peace protesters, including a little old lady right outside of Columbia. Now he was arrested, thank God. I mean, I guess that's still illegal, but I mean, again, they did massive assault on UCLA's campus, the Israeli supporters did. And the police stood by, they were literally on the scene for 3 hours and they let them beat the crap out of the peace protesters. And there's no congressional investigations, nobody's getting money, there's no crackdown. Okay, at Columbia, so at least that guy got arrested for trying to murder people. Did you guys ever hear that? You didn't hear it, right? Because no, he's pro-Israel, so it's okay. If you're pro-Israel, you try to murder people, there's no congressional investigations. There's no Muslims getting paid. In that case, it's not even Muslims. Again, there's always, in the peace protests, guys, there's Muslims, Christians, Jews, atheists, everyone, okay? And I love them. I love every one of them. Everyone who makes it about religion, like with and who's making it about religion? Trump and Colombia. No, the Muslims shouldn't be protected. Christians shouldn't be protected. Only supporters of Israel should be protected. How about the guys who got run over by a car? How about them? No, no protection. No protection. Only pro-Israel people are protected at Colombia. So, okay, you work for a foreign government. You're not in higher education. All of them humiliated for the rest of their lives. Sick people. You're gonna be known forever. If you're part of that administration now, or you're on the board, you're gonna be known forever as genocide supporters. You're gonna go in a museum, they're gonna have your name. These were the people who paid money to folks who were in favor of genocide because they felt offended by the people who said that Israel was doing a genocide. Can you imagine? I mean, you could take any genocide or Holocaust you like, okay? The Armenian genocide, the Holocaust against Jews by the Nazis. Imagine they're like, oh, the German students at Columbia were offended that people were calling out the concentration camps, etc., in Germany. Well, the Germans were offended. Pay $200 million to the government for offending the Germans. Pay 20 million to the German students who were offended about what you said about the Nazis, or any other one. Oh, you criticize Popa, okay, to give me money, give them money. How dare you criticize the Ottoman Empire for slaughtering Armenians? You owe the Turks money. You don't owe the Armenians money, you owe the Turks money because we were offended. I mean, if the Turks made that case, we'd be laughed out of the building, and we should be. Money because we're offended because we committed a genocide. How does that make any sense? But if you apply it to the Israelis, they're like, of course, how dare you offend the most important people of all, the great and almighty Israeli citizens. If you offend them, you owe everybody money, even if they commit the slaughter. I'm sick of it, sick of it. I can't wait for us for our actual Independence Day. We are occupied by Israel. Colombia's occupied, Washington's occupied. We just had a vote, 422-6 in Congress to give Israel another $500 million in the middle of a genocide. Imagine if the Ottoman Empire was like, hey, I'm busy murdering Armenians. Send me $500 million, I haven't murdered enough of them. And America was like, yes, sir, of course, sir. The most important thing is Turks, sir. Well, how can we assist you in your slaughter of the Armenians, sir? And that's what we're doing now. But if you say it, oh, I'm offended. I'm offended. I don't give a goddamn that you're offended. I'm offended by the 20,000 babies and children that Israel has slaughtered. And that's not anti-Semitism. It is a literal fact. They dropped bombs, the children were lit on fire, and right now, 111 people have already died of starvation, 10 of them in the last 24 hours. A 6-week-old baby just died because Israel will not send any food inside Gaza. Their disgusting government is filled with terrorists, and Colombia is kissing their ass. You're all going in a museum of the people who are the most deeply hateful people in American history. The people who loved, supported, cheered, and applauded a genocide. That's Colombia's board, that's Colombia's administration. I hope that's clear enough. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.